Since red light cameras were introduced in Chicago's suburbs a decade ago, state and local officials have routinely ignored requirements to analyze the safety impact at the intersections where cameras were placed, a Tribune investigation has found. The result: the state has not ordered a single camera removed for ineffectiveness, as suburbs have collected millions of dollars in fines, sometimes in places where crashes increased after cameras were turned on. When the cameras were proposed a decade ago, supporters pledged their primary purpose was to reduce crashes. To prove they worked, a rigorous process was carved into state law and Illinois Department of Transportation policies that supporters said would show the cameras improved safety, not just filled town coffers. Under that process, suburbs were supposed to conduct 2 studies of crash figures at red light camera intersections, and if crashes actually increased, a third, deeper study to figure out why. Yet for years, the Tribune found, those requirements were often sidestepped, with towns failing to turn in complete reports, or any reports at all, and with IDOT failing to follow up. The Tribune investigation also found, after cameras were installed, the crash rate rose at 1/4 of places that could be studied. IDOT didn't study crash statistics submitted by suburbs with cameras, nor track suburbs that didn't submit statistical reports required under IDOT's rules. No suburb has been penalized for not submitting reports. About 1/3 of suburbs with red light cameras did not post camera safety studies online for public scrutiny, as required by law. No suburb did a required additional study on places with cameras where crash rates increased. Of the suburbs that conducted studies and submitted required follow-up reports, the vast majority farmed out the analysis to the same private firms supplying the cameras and making money off tickets they produce. The revelations follow a Tribune investigation, published in September, that showed inconsistencies in how IDOT decided where to allow cameras in the first place. The state repeatedly, while at times facing political pressure, agreed to suburbs' demands to put them in locations with little history of the kind of crashes the cameras are meant to prevent. In those cases, the Tribune found, IDOT vetted intersections extensively before permits were issued. But the Tribune's latest review found that, after permits were issued, IDOT's oversight dramatically dropped. And the agency for years failed to seek answers to the basic question of whether cameras improved safety. There is some good news for motorists: over the past decade, for all of suburban Chicago, there have been fewer serious crashes caused by red light runners, according to a Tribune analysis of state crash data. But it's unclear whether cameras should get the credit. IDOT oversees state routes outside Chicago, and the Tribune documented 287 stretches of road where IDOT has permitted cameras. Of those, 240 had cameras for a long enough period to study before and after effects. The Tribune first looked at the types of crashes advocates cited when lobbying for cameras: those blamed on red light runners that kill or seriously injure someone.